Welcome back to the channel. In any high-stakes environment, whether an operating room or a live sports broadcast, there's a fundamental rule that cannot be broken. When the moment of peak intensity arrives, you must be ready to capture it. Missing the critical event is not just an error. It is a systemic failure that calls the entire operation into question. That is precisely what happened when Jon Rahm, the Spanish superstar and former Masters champion, produced a shot of pure magic, an albatross on a par 5, one of the rarest and most electrifying feats in all of golf. This was the kind of moment that defines a career, the kind of highlight that gets replayed millions of times. But when the moment happened, the LIV Golf broadcast was showing a commercial. When coverage returned, the announcers mentioned the albatross in passing, but they did not show the shot. They could not show it because the footage simply did not exist. The golf world has exploded in fury. Critics are pouncing, and the LIV Golf broadcast is now under a level of scrutiny it has never faced before. How could a professional golf league backed by billions of dollars miss the shot of the year? The questions are mounting, the answers are not coming, and the entire episode has become a cautionary tale about what happens when production quality fails to match player talent. The LIV Golf broadcast has never been perfect, and fans have been vocal about their frustrations from the very beginning. The camera angles often feel awkward and disorienting. The on-screen graphics appear clunky and dated. The commentary has been criticized as overly biased toward the league's own narrative. The commercial breaks have always been poorly timed, interrupting the natural flow of competition. The league, however, has consistently defended its product, pointing to innovative features, highlighting its young talent, and promising that improvements were on the way. The Jon Rahm albatross changed everything in an instant. The shot happened on the 14th hole. Rahm stood 245 yards from the pin. He pulled out his 3-wood and delivered a swing that was technically perfect. The ball launched on a high, straight trajectory, cleared the water hazard with ease, landed softly on the green, and began rolling directly toward the hole. It struck the pin with a sharp sound and dropped into the cup. An albatross, a score of 2 on a par 5. A feat so rare that many professional golfers go their entire careers without achieving one. The crowd erupted in disbelief. Rahm raised his arms in triumph, and his caddy rushed to embrace him. It was the moment of the tournament, arguably the moment of the entire LIV season, and it should have been broadcast live to millions of viewers around the world. Instead, the world was watching a commercial, a car advertisement, a luxury watch promotion, a segment selling the very sponsors who fund the league. The broadcast had cut away just before Rahm began his swing and returned only after the ball had already found the bottom of the cup. The announcers, clearly flustered, mentioned the albatross and apologized for missing it. They promised viewers a replay. That replay never came because the cameras had been focused elsewhere and the producers had not anticipated the shot. The shot of the year was not captured, and the embarrassment was total. The apology issued by LIV Golf was brief and clinical, stating that a technical error had prevented the capture of Rahm's incredible albatross and that production protocols were being reviewed. But the apology arrived far too late. The damage was already done, and a narrative crystallized almost instantly across social media and golf media outlets. LIV Golf's broadcast was being labeled a failure, and the league itself was being mocked as an operation that could not execute the most basic function of sports television. To understand why this particular failure has cut so deep, it is important to understand the broader context. LIV Golf has spent 4 years and billions of dollars trying to compete with the PGA Tour. It has signed some of the best players in the world, hired experienced executives, and promised a superior, more exciting product. But the product has never truly been better. It has merely been different, and different is not always an improvement. The broadcast issues are not isolated glitches. They represent a persistent pattern. Fans have complained about shaky camera work, strange angles, confusing graphics, and commentary that often sounds more like promotional material than honest analysis. The commercial breaks have consistently interrupted crucial moments. The complaints have been consistent for years, but the improvements have been minimal. The Jon Rahm albatross was the breaking point because the shot was simply too significant to miss, and the failure was too blatant to excuse. Defenders of LIV Golf have been quick to point out that even the PGA Tour occasionally misses a shot due to technical difficulties, because no broadcast operation is flawless. Cameras malfunction, producers make split-second errors, and live television carries inherent risk. But the difference here is one of scale and frequency. The PGA Tour might miss a notable shot once or twice a year, whereas LIV Golf seems to encounter these failures on a monthly basis. The pattern is the real problem, and it points to a deeper structural issue within the league. LIV Golf has prioritized spending billions on player contracts to attract star names, but it has spent comparatively little on building a world-class production infrastructure. The imbalance is now glaringly obvious. The players on the course are elite, world-class athletes capable of producing moments of pure magic. The broadcast that is supposed to showcase them feels amateurish and unprepared. Fans notice this disparity, sponsors notice it, and the networks that might consider carrying LIV events certainly notice it. The missed albatross has also had a personal impact on Jon Rahm himself. He produced the shot of the year, and he deserved to have it captured professionally, replayed endlessly, and celebrated as a defining highlight of his career. Instead, he received a corporate apology and the knowledge that the best documentation of his achievement is a grainy video recorded by a fan on a smartphone. Rahm has not commented publicly because he is far too professional and focused on his game to wade into controversy, but sources close to him suggest he is deeply disappointed. The shot remains magical, but the memory is now unavoidably tainted by the institutional failure surrounding it. The reaction from the golf world has been swift, brutal, and unusually unified. Social media platforms flooded immediately with messages of disbelief and mockery. Fans who had previously defended the league expressed that this was simply inexcusable. Others pointed out that the PGA Tour, with its comprehensive camera placement and experienced production teams, would never allow such a moment to be missed. Some viewers announced they were canceling their subscriptions, declaring they were finished with a product that felt fundamentally amateurish. Players within LIV have been more circumspect, understandably reluctant to publicly criticize their own employer. But a few anonymous voices have emerged. One LIV player told a golf outlet that it was genuinely embarrassing because the league has the best players in the world and therefore needs the best production to match. Another player expressed hope that the league would fix the issues because shots like Rahm's albatross deserve to be seen by the world. The media has covered the story relentlessly, with every golf outlet publishing analysis, every podcast dedicating episodes to the failure, and mainstream news programs picking up the narrative. A PGA Tour executive, speaking anonymously, was quoted saying this is exactly why their organization remains the best, because they have cameras on every hole and producers who know what to look for and would never miss an albatross. The comment was smug, but it was also undeniably accurate. The fan who recorded the moment on a smartphone has become an unlikely figure in this saga. His video has been viewed millions of times across various platforms, and he has been interviewed by multiple news outlets, praised for his quick thinking, but also critical of the league. He stated simply that he was lucky to be filming, but that LIV should have had professional cameras there because capturing the action is their fundamental job, not his. LIV Golf has announced changes in the wake of the disaster, promising to add more cameras, hire more experienced producers, and thoroughly review its protocols. These changes are absolutely necessary for the league's survival, but they are also tragically too late for the moment that mattered most. The opportunity is lost, the professional footage is non-existent, and the defining image of Jon Rahm's albatross will forever be a shaky, fan-recorded clip. The irony is painfully sharp. LIV Golf spent millions on its broadcast production, yet an amateur with a phone in his pocket captured the most valuable content of the day. The professional operation failed completely, and the amateur succeeded brilliantly. Looking ahead, 3 possible outcomes emerge from this humiliation. The first, and most likely, is that LIV Golf finally makes the necessary investments, fixes its production infrastructure, and ensures that the next great moment is properly captured. The league has the financial resources to solve this problem. The second possibility is that the missed albatross becomes a permanent symbol of incompetence, damaging the league's reputation, driving away fans and sponsors, and accelerating a decline that is already underway in terms of ratings and attendance. Reputation is difficult to rebuild once it has been shattered this publicly. The third outcome is that the controversy simply fades as the rapid news cycle moves on, the production quietly improves without fanfare, and the missed shot becomes little more than a footnote. Which of these futures materializes depends entirely on whether LIV Golf's leadership truly understands the severity of the wound they have inflicted upon themselves. The apology has been issued, and the promises have been made. The golf world is now watching closely to see if those promises translate into tangible change. Jon Rahm's albatross was a moment of pure athletic brilliance, and the broadcast failure that surrounded it was utterly inexcusable. LIV Golf stands at a crossroads where it must choose between investing seriously in quality or risking a slow fade into irrelevance. What do you think? Is this a recoverable mistake or a sign of a league that fundamentally does not understand what fans need? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay on top of every development in this ongoing story, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. This conversation is far from over, and I will see you in the next one. If you want daily updates, then subscribe to the Golf Hub channel.